Would you all please rise for the Deputy Lord Mayor of Perth, Mr Bruce Reynolds.
Thank you. In Australia and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. It's a privilege to be standing on Whadjuk Noongar country. CEO, could you please recite the prayer?
Almighty God, under whose providence we hold responsibility for this city, grant us wisdom to understand its present needs, foresight to anticipate its future growth, and grace to serve our fellow citizens with integrity and selfless devotion. And to thee be all blessing and glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. Okay, so please note that in accordance with the Local Government Act 1995, this meeting is being live streamed and the recording will be made available on the city's website following the meeting. In attendance this afternoon, we have Councillor Bevan, Councillor Doshi, Councillor Gobbett, Councillor Coe, Councillor Lisa and Councillor Wellard. In addition, I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our officers, members of public and any media that may be in attendance. Item 3.2 is apologies and leave of absence. Currently, Councillor Gonsalves is on an approved leave of absence until the 27th of May 2025. 3.3 is applications for leave of absence. The following leave of absence applications have been received. Number 1, which is Deputy Lord Mayor Bruce Reynolds for the period of 3 July 2025 to 13th of July 2025 inclusive. Do any other elected members have an application for leave? Yes, we do. Councillor Coe, for the period of May 28 to 1st of September 2025 inclusive. Councillor Coe. Yes. Anyone else? If that's all right. Okay, thank you. Okay, so where we are now, we would like to, could someone please move a motion to approve leave of absence applications, please? Thank you. Councillor Gobbard, seconder. Councillor Wellard. Thank you. So that basically... Yep, okay. Thank you. So that one is passed. Can elected members also acknowledge they have received sufficient time to read and consider the agenda items presented this evening? That's good. I'd also like to remind everyone to ensure appropriate concentration and attention is given to the ordinary council meeting. Please refrain from using your mobile phones with the exception of an emergency. In the event of an emergency, please pay attention to the directions given by the City of Perth staff. Item 4 is announcements by the Deputy Lord Mayor. I'll get a quick one there. Okay, so good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, with much fanfare, we officially unveiled Lightning, a monumental piece of public art gifted to the City of Perth by world-renowned contemporary artist Brendan Murphy. But this is more than just public art. It's a story of generosity, vision and a symbol of the adventurous spirit that it helps define our city. The Bungie Spaceman is truly one-of-a-kind creation at 7 metres tall, weighing over 1,300 kilograms and crafted from carbon fibre with steel-based chrome finish. Lightning is bold, breathtaking and now entirely unique to Perth. It now adds us to a connection of 6 global cities that already call the Bungie Spaceman home, a permanent link to one of the most celebrated contemporary artists in the world, and a bold new catalyst for public art to take centre stage in Perth. This piece already has sparked enormous interest, has got people talking, and more importantly, even as a council, has prompted us to reflect on how we can support, manage and celebrate public art across our city. Just in regards to some of the statistics associated with the launch of Lightning, or the Spaceman, the unveiling attracted extensive media coverage across all local media outlets, having a combined audience of more than 17.5 million people. On social media, the reaction has been just as impressive, with over 150,000 people reached through the city's own channels. The reveal video itself clocked more than 70,000 views, and the artwork was picked up by 49 digital sites reaching millions of people across the world. So that is proof, ladies and gentlemen, that public art has the power not just to beautify, but to unite, to inspire, and to elevate our city's global standing. And finally, a heartfelt thank you to all the City of Perth staff who worked tirelessly over the last 12 months to make this vision a reality. In every measure, I feel this has been a success, not just for the addition of the work to our public art scene, but also to public art, bringing public art to the fore in our city. So thank you. Okay, item 5 is disclosures of interest. CEO, have we received any disclosures of interest?
Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor, the following interests have been disclosed. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.1 for consistency and completeness, as she is a councillor on the Heritage Council of WA. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.2 for consistency and completeness, as she is a councillor on the Heritage Council of WA. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.2 as a person closely associated with her owns property in Royal Street, East Perth, within the area of this item. Councillor Stephen Wellard has disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.2 as his employer's property is at 28 The Esplanade, Perth, which is in proximity to the scheme area. Councillor Stephen Wellard has disclosed an impartiality interest in an item 11.2 as he is a member of the East Perth Tattersall Bowling Club. You have disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.2 as you have a pending membership to the bowling club within the scheme area, and you are the president of the Rotary Club, which is hosting and has hosted an event where St Bart's CEO is a guest speaker. You have disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.2 as you own property on Aberdeen Street, Northbridge, which is within proximity of the scheme area. Councillor Liam Gobbett has disclosed a proximity interest in item 11.2 as his address is adjacent to area EP 25 within the local planning scheme 26. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 11.3 for consistency and completeness as she is a councillor on the Heritage Council of WA. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 14.1 for consistency and completeness as she is a councillor on the Heritage Council of WA. You have disclosed an impartiality interest in item 14.2 as you are a sponsor of all free artwork and design for several years in relation to Telethon and in the past did graphic work projects for the West. Neither are a client now nor will be. Councillor Catherine Leeser has disclosed a proximity interest in item 16.3 as several of the mentioned events are proposed to be held in locations adjacent to the property she owns. You have disclosed an impartiality interest in 16.3 as you were a sponsor of all free artwork and design for several years in relation to Telethon and in the past did graphic work projects for the West. Neither a client now nor will be in the future. Councillor Liam Gobbett has disclosed an impartiality interest in item 16.3 as he attended the Anzac Day commemorative service for 21 to 25. He has previously attended the Tarmac West Awards night as the city's representative. He attended the Channel 7 Christmas pageant in 2024 and participated in 2023. He attended the Lunar New Year's celebrations with Changhua Association from 2021 to 2025. And I see we have a disclosure of interest in accordance with item number 16.3 from Councillor Victor Coe. Dr. Coe has an impartiality interest as he has attended the Perth Chinese New Year Fair and has met Dr. Chen Ting of Changhua Association on a number of occasions. Thank you.
Thank you, CEO. I'll actually go down exactly the same path as Councillor Coe in regards to attending Changhua events and knowing Dr. Ting as well. And we have another one from the floor, which is also for Councillor Coe, who does have doctor's handwriting. Yes. Good luck with that one.
And so we have had a declaration of interest from the Deputy Lord Mayor, which is a impartiality interest. And we have an additional disclosure of interest from Dr. Victor Coe under 16.3, and this is a impartiality interest also. I currently live on Terrace Road, and some of these events are adjacent to Langley Park where I live.
Sure. Just with that one, Councillor Coe, just want to clarify, that's impartiality or proximity?
Proximity, sorry.
Proximity? No problem. Okay, are there any other elected members like to disclose interest from the floor? No? Thank you. Just give us 1 second while Charlie just tidies up a couple of quick things there. All right, beautiful, thank you. Moving on to public participation, ladies and gentlemen. 6.1, responses to public questions previously taken on notice. Questions from Helen Curtis and Felicity Johnson that were taken on notice at the Ordinary Council meeting on the 29th of April 2025 have been responded to and are in the agenda of this meeting. 6.2, which is public question time. Before we commence public question time, I'll just remind everyone that 15 minutes has been allocated for public question time, and this time is available for asking questions only and not for making statements or expressing personal opinions. In addition, no discussion of the questions or answers are to take place. Questions received with more than 24 hours notice will be responded to first. And for those of you who have submitted your questions in the last 24 hours, your questions will be included in the minutes of this meeting and a response will be provided in the agenda to the next Ordinary Council meeting. CEO, have we any public questions?
Yes,
received?
Deputy Lord Mayor, we have 8 members of the public have submitted public questions.
All right, thank you very much for that. So given the number of questions received in advance of tonight's meeting, the process for public question time will be as follows. Each person will be given 3 minutes to ask their public questions and receive responses. If there's any time remaining for public questions, each person will be given an additional 2 minutes to ask these public questions and receive responses if required. To kick off proceedings, Adam Pecan has submitted public questions, however has advised that he will be unable to attend tonight. Adam's questions and responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. I'd now like to ask Vicky Ranowski to step forward. Vicky, good to see you. If you can state your name, suburb, and then proceed with your questions.
Vicky Ranashevsky, East Perth ratepayer. Question 1. Could you please advise the entire expenditure in relation to the Riverfront Master Plan from 2018 until May 20th, 2025, which should include any City of Perth staff wages involved in the project, consultancy fees paid, draft plans supplied, engagement survey costs, along with any other incidental costs related to it?
Thank you, Vicky. Through to the CEO.
Could I invite the General Manager, Planning and Sustainability to answer that question, please?
Through the Deputy Lord Mayor, the approximate cost since 2018 is $600,000, which includes the commissioning of various technical studies.
Thank you. Next question.
In relation to the Riverfront Master Plan, it is stated on page 139, a number of key stakeholders workshops were held August 2020 to mid-2024. Various government departments along with the Perth Elders Group were involved who would be affected by the Riverfront project. The State Heritage Council and residents living adjacent to Langley Park were predominantly the most affected by these plans. Therefore, why were they never consulted as major key stakeholders before releasing these plans?
Thank you, Vicky. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Planning and Sustainability to respond, please.
Through the Deputy Lord Mayor, in March 2020, a community survey was conducted to better understand how people use the riverfront and to gather their aspirations for the future of the foreshore. 557 responses were received, reflecting a wide range of community views and interests, including neighbouring residents. In addition to the survey, workshops were held at the time with key stakeholders, including the heritage team at the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage, and a representative from the East Perth Community Group. We appreciate the time and effort that community members and stakeholders have contributed to the project since 2020.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for your questions this evening, Vicky. Jason Bowe has submitted public questions. However, he has advised he's unable to attend tonight. Jason's questions and responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Is David Lim in attendance? No? Okay, so David's questions have been received and those responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Sandy Angie has supplied some questions. She's not in attendance, so her questions and responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Helen Curtis has submitted public questions, however has advised that she will be unable to attend tonight. Helen's questions and responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Felicity Johnson has submitted public questions and advised that she will be unable to attend this evening. Felicity's responses and questions will be provided into the minutes of this meeting. I now invite Stuart Chapman to please step forward. Stuart here? No. Okay. So Stuart's... have we locked everyone out downstairs? There's some of the people lining up? I'm not sure. Stuart has sent his questions through. Those questions and responses will be provided in the minutes of this meeting. Okay. CEO, have any other public questions been received prior to this meeting?
Yes, Deputy Lord Mayor, 4 questions have been received with less than 24 hours notice.
Thank you, CEO. Reminder that those questions will also be included in the minutes of this meeting and responses will be provided in the agenda of the next Ordinary Council meeting. In accordance with the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996, as the person presiding at this meeting, I can confirm... before I do that, are there any other questions that anyone would like to... We're okay with that? No, we'll go forward with the... in accordance with Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996, as the person presiding this meeting, I can confirm that members of the public have been given equal and fair opportunity to ask questions and provided for in the standing orders of the local law. In addition, information is available at the City's website regarding public question time, and on those grounds I'm satisfied that members of the public have now had ample opportunity to participate in the process, so thank you for your participation. Item 7 is confirmation of minutes. Would someone like to move the recommendation that Council confirms the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 29th of April 2025 are a true and correct record? Councillor Leeser moves. Seconder, Councillor Bevan. I will now put that motion to the vote. All in favour? That has been carried unopposed. Thank you. Item 6, questions by members which due notice has been given. There have been no questions received. Item 9, which is correspondence. There has been no correspondence received. Item 10, petitions. No petitions have been received. Before we move on to the officer's report, the following items have been identified to be moved en bloc. 15.1, monthly financial statements for March 2025. 15.2, schedule of accounts paid for March 2025. 16.1, business relocation grant. 16.2, the residential energy upgrade grant for 24-25. 17.1 is the 2026 WECP AGM bid. 18.1 is the 24-25 OAG annual audit plan entrance meeting. 18.2 is the proposed 3-year strategic internal audit plan for financial years 25-26 through to 27-28. And 20.2 is the strategic risk profile review of 2025. Do any elected members wish to extract any of these items I've listed? No, that's fine. I will now move a motion that these items be dealt en bloc. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Gobbett, thank you. Do any members oppose this motion? That motion being unopposed, we now declare it passed unanimously. The recommendations of those items have now been passed en bloc in accordance with Clause 9.2 of the City of Perth Standing Orders Local Law 2009, and the officer and/or committee recommendations have been adopted by Council. We don't need to do that now, do we? That's been done. Okay, fantastic. Item 11 is the Planning and Sustainability Alliance reports. 11.1 is the draft specialised accommodation local planning policy. Councillor Leeser has disclosed impartiality interests, but she's not required to leave the chamber. Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Gobbett, seconder Councillor Leeser. Councillor Gobbett, would you like to speak to the motion? No. Councillor Leeser, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Deputy. So some apartment buildings in WA are zoned for short-term accommodation, or what we used to call service departments. And the owners who purchase and the renters who rent in these buildings are fully aware of this upfront. They are designed, built and maintained as such and have different management requirements to residentially class 2 buildings. And I fully support these buildings. However, the vast majority of apartment buildings were not designed for short-term accommodation. They are residential. Owners purchased and renters rented on the basis that they will know their neighbours. Minimum rental terms are generally 3 or 6 months, and they do not have a constant stream of strangers coming and going. So then, how can a purchaser, a renter or an owner know if a strata building allows or does not allow short-term accommodation? Strata legislation has been set up so that buildings make their own rules. These are called bylaws. These laws are voted in, often with a 75% hurdle rate. Looking at the bylaws is the only way to know if a strata building does or does not allow short-term accommodation. Bylaws are given to both buyers and renters at the start of their residency, and they are registered at Landgate. Verifying the bylaws is the only way to know for certain if a strata building allows or does not allow short-term accommodation, and I welcome the modification to the proof requirements in this regard and look forward to reading the community submissions. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Leeser. Now move the item to be open for debate. Would anyone like to speak for or against the item? Councillor Gobbett, would you like to close? Okay, let's put that motion to a vote. All those in favour? That one is carried unopposed. Okay, thank you. Moving on to item 11.2, which is the preparation of planning scheme amendments and policies for tourist and visitor accommodation and short-term rental accommodation. Councillor Leeser has disclosed an impartiality and a proximity interest and is required to leave the chamber, as is Councillor Wellard, has an impartiality interest and proximity interest and is required to leave the chamber. I have disclosed a proximity interest to the extent that I own a property on Aberdeen Street, Northbridge, which is within the proximity of the scheme area. I have been granted approval from the Minister to participate and vote on the item under section 5.69, bracket 3, bracket A of the Local Government Act 1995. Councillor Gobbett, could you please disclose your nature of interest?
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Identical to yours, I have disclosed a proximity interest to the extent that my address is adjacent to Area EP25 within Local Planning Scheme 26. I have been granted approval from the Minister to participate and vote on this item under Section 5.693A of the Local Government Act 1995.
Okay, thank you. Could I please have someone move the recommendation? Okay, thank you, Councillor Gobbett. And a seconder? Councillor Doshi, would you like to speak to the item? Councillor Doshi, no. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? Not the motion, the item. Okay, let's put that motion to a vote. Okay, that's unopposed. We're a bit thin on numbers, so let's get those hands up quick. Okay, so that is now carried unopposed. Thank you very much. Could we please have the councillors return back to chamber? Can we do that at the end?
We have to close confidential stuff anyway.
What do you want to do?
It's your meeting. But he was obstructed.
All right, cool. All right, let's just do it now. Is he still here? Where is he? Yeah, let's invite him in. Okay, what we're actually going to do is, I did mention I wondered if anyone had been locked out. Mr. Chapman was downstairs and he was here in time and wasn't able to get up in time to ask his questions. So I'm actually going to ask him to come forward and ask his questions in good faith. Good afternoon, Mr. Chapman. We didn't intentionally lock you out, and that's why we're certainly giving you an opportunity to ask those questions. If you'd like to state your name and suburb, and you've got 3 minutes.
I thought I had 15.
No, 15 minutes in total and 3 minutes each.
Has there been other people asking questions already, has there?
Yeah, we've very closed off question time. I'm actually opening it up for you because of the issue of you being able to get up the stairs, which is no fault of your own.
All right, so my name's Stuart Chapman. I have a property at Hillside Gardens in West Perth. On the 14th of May 2025, I emailed governance with several straightforward questions for clarity. While I have lodged an appeal in relation to my latest FOI application, that appeal is entirely unrelated to the questions I raise here. I'll now go through each of those questions individually. The first question was concerning legal costs. I asked, could you please provide the total legal costs associated with investigating the removal of the implied licence for individuals to stand on the footpath in front of Government House? Governance responded, the questions you ask in your email are best progressed through the FOI process. I now ask Council, why is the City requiring me to go through the cost and delay on FOI requests simply to obtain a one-sentence answer concerning a financial entry, information that could reasonably be provided right now at this Council meeting?
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor. The Freedom of Information Act 1992 provides a structured and transparent process through which a person may gain access to government documents, subject to some limitations which are set out in the Act.
Thank you. Next question, Stuart. Next question, mate.
I just don't think you've answered the question. Question 2, communication regarding the Governor's meeting. My next question was, could you please explain why the elected members were not informed of the existence of the email between the former Lord Mayor and the CEO concerning a meeting with the Governor about the protests outside Government House? Governance again advised me to submit another FOI request. My question to Council is this, why should I be forced to use the expensive FOI process when I'm not asking a process access to a document, but merely seeking an explanation why the communication was withheld from elected members? What part of this inquiry falls under the scope of the FOI Act?
Thank you. Through to the CEO.
And if I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and thank you, Mr Chapman. Look, the Freedom of Information Act provides a structured and transparent process through which a person may gain access to government documents, subject to some limitations which are set out in the Act. Generally speaking, the best approach is to request documents that you think may help answer your questions, and that is the purpose of the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah, but it wasn't a document. Question 3, sharing the document with elected members. I asked, if requested, will the City provide this document to the other elected members? Once again, Governors declined to answer the question directly and suggested I lodge an FOI request. Why can't the City simply respond with a yes or no to this question? The public deserves to know whether there is in effect a secret club within the City of Perth, one in which certain documents are withheld from elected members due to decisions made by the former Lord Mayor and the current CEO.
Thank you for the question. Through to you, CEO.
Thank you. If I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Thank you. Through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and thank you for the question, Mr Chapman. It's the Freedom of Information Act 1992 provides a structured and transparent process through which a person may gain access to government documents, subject to some limitations which are set out in the Act. Generally speaking, the best approach to seek information is to request documents that you think may help answer your questions, and City officers can assist with that.
Question number 4. Again, how does this query fall under... Oh, I'll skip that question. You've already not answered it previously.
Stuart, just a quick one. This will be your last question. We're at 4.5 minutes.
Okay,
mate,
thank you. Thank you for your time. Are there any other documents that the CEO and former Lord Mayor have kept hidden from other elected members? A simple yes or no answer would be appreciated.
Thank you. Through to you, CEO.
And if I could invite the General Manager, Community Development to respond, please.
Yes, thank you. And through you, Deputy Lord Mayor, thank you, Mr Chapman. Documents that are relevant to an elected member undertaking their functions are certainly not withheld.
Okay. All right, thank you. So thank you again, Stuart, for popping in. The rest of your questions and those answers will be in the minutes of the meeting. It's good to see you again. All the best. Okay, now we move on to item, I'll just make sure I haven't lost the spot. Okay, now we move on to item 11.3. Does that sound right? Just double check I'm in the right spot. Yeah, cool. James Street Revitalisation Draft Plan. Councillor Leeser has disclosed impartiality interest. I would like to move that recommendation. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Wellard. Find a pen that's working. Okay, so I'll quickly speak to this motion. Tonight I support item 11.3, the release of the draft concept plan for the James Street revitalisation for community consultation. Northbridge is an important part and a massive fabric of the City of Perth, and James Street is the cultural artery of Northbridge. James Street's last upgrade was in 2006. This concept plan reimagines James Street as a vibrant, walkable, culturally rich and offers green corridor improvements. The plan reflects what our community has told us. They want more shade, better lighting, less clutter, safer spaces and a stronger day to night transition. Some of the key features of this plan include an extra 2,000 square metres of footpath space, which will increase a 40% increase to allow for alfresco dining, performance spaces and passive rest areas. Additionally, new trees will be planted, improving shade and cooling, urban cooling, consistent paving and upgraded lighting, more public art, stronger cultural identity and a safer interface with the Perth Cultural Centre. We now have an opportunity to take this out to the community and test the vision. This is a strong plan. The draft is a strong plan, but good consultation will make it even better. I support the release of the draft plan for consultation and commend all for the work that has gone into it. Thank you. Councillor Wellard, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, through yourself, Deputy Lord Mayor. James Street is one of our most well-known, perhaps infamous, nighttime economy hotspots. However, over time it's become tired-looking, overrun by traffic, with little street activation and dimly lit passageways. Together we have a generational opportunity for positive change that can help shake the dark, dirty and dangerous reputation this night strip has quite unfairly been given over time. With the city's vision now ready for public review, I call on those private owners of significant land holdings along James Street to come on board and work alongside the city to rebirth the heart of Northbridge into the clean, safe, vibrant, engaging public space it really deserves to be. Think how great it would be if the likes of the Brass Monkey Hotel returned to the tuck-pointed glory of its Great Western Hotel origins. If Nick's Lane was a well-lit pedestrian walkway complete with Chinese gates and lanterns, or Wilson's car park was resurfaced with clearly marked and lit pedestrian thoroughfares and street art. Finally, it's great to see a potential return of the arch in one form or another as to be agreed with the artist included in these plans. I commend the administration on their bold and exciting James Street revitalisation plans and really look forward to the community and business feedback. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Councillor Wellard. We now move this item to debate. Would anyone like to speak for or against the item? Councillor Gobbett.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and echoing those very sentimental comments from my council colleague, Councillor Wellard, it is pleasing to see this plan come before council and ready for community consultation. It became clear to me as we progressed with the Main Street refresh that a lick of paint and a few new benches, superficial changes just weren't enough to solve some of the ingrained and long-term issues that are touched on in the report, like drainage and ongoing operational issues. And there needed to be a bit of wholesale redesign going into this project. So I'm very happy to support it on that basis. The draft concept plan presents, as the report touches on, a high-quality vision for the street, emphasising the role of Northbridge as our city's entertainment hub and as a connection to our cultural precinct. This $17 million plan is a significant investment in the nighttime economy of our city. We've all got lived experiences of this part of town. For some, maybe it's where you met your now partners on a spontaneous night out, or you might have been celebrating a birthday, a bucks or a hens, or whatever these inconsequential experiences might sound like. They are manifestations of placemaking, and it is through major government investment and commitments that we make, like these ones, that make places. Look, from King's Cross, Fortitude Valley, all of our major Australian cities have their nighttime precincts. Northbridge is ours, we own it, and this is a way to improve that for future generations. So with that, Deputy Lord Mayor, I commend the plan for community consultation.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Councillor Leeser.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to also, it's good to see the support in the room, which is great, and I'd like to express my appreciation to the admin for the well-presented information. The draft plans are pretty exciting and they represent a significant step forward. I'm really happy to see the wider footpaths. I think this is a really thoughtful design element that will enhance pedestrian accessibility and safety, but also tie into the Perth Cultural Centre upgrades that are happening right now. Enhanced lighting will also undoubtedly contribute to a safer and more welcoming atmosphere. But I'm really pleased to see the inclusion of the bollards. I really think that will provide for us valuable flexibility to close off the street for community events or bustling markets or any kind of festival, really. So, and that'll be could lead to different kinds of experiences in Northbridge. So I really support this motion and look forward to reading the feedback. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to speak for or against the motion? No? I have nothing further to add. So let's put that motion to a vote. All those in favour? That is carried unanimously. Thank you. Everyone's keen for James Street, which is great. No one mentioned kebabs. Item 12, which is Community Development Alliance reports. There are no reports. Item 13 is Infrastructure and Operation Alliance reports. There are no reports. Item 14 is the Commercial Service Alliance report. 14.1 is a request to advertise reserve amendment and road closure for Murray Street Mall, Murray Street and Forest Place basement. Councillor Leeser has disclosed impartiality interest, but is not required to leave the chamber. Can I have someone move the motion? Councillor Leeser, seconder. Councillor Bevan. Mover, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This particular motion engages us in three dimensions, and while looking at the space between and underneath our city malls, it's really important and indeed essential preliminary work paving the way for the highly anticipated Carillion redevelopment. It's been genuinely encouraging to hear the positive buzz around this project. Everyone I've discussed it with has been really impressed by the glimpses we got in the paper of the visuals and the plans. And from what I've seen, this redevelopment promises to deliver a significant enhancement to our city centre by forging much needed seamless connection between the two malls and it looks like it's going to be wrapped in a really striking modern design. So therefore, I'm really pleased to support this recommendation and look forward to seeing this foundational step enable such a transformative project in Perth. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bevan, would you like to
Nothing
speak?
further to add, thank you.
Okay. We'll open this up for debate. Would anyone like to add anything further to debate? Councillor Wellard.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. The Carillion City Development is a CBD centre game-changing project. We can all see that. Not unlike what happened in Sydney's Pitt Street Mall when the old Tide Centrepoint shopping mall was stripped and rebuilt as Westfield Sydney in 2010. Major developments like these are very disruptive, and it's the council's joint responsibility to work with the developer to ensure that disruption is kept to a minimum. With no road access to the Carillion site, this development is going to be quite disruptive, but I firmly believe, just like in Sydney, the end result will be worth many times the pain. The proposed tunnel under Murray Street Mall to the construction site should help mitigate the impact of demolition and construction works. It will also allow pedestrian-free access to the building once completed for service and delivery vehicles. For those reasons, I approve this motion to advertise the proposed amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Would anyone else like to add any comment? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. And it was my great pleasure to join Councillor Doshi at the recent Development Assessment Panel meeting to vote unanimously in favour with the other panel members for this. Just reiterating some of the comments I made during the panel meeting, it has been an ongoing challenge to activate the upper floor areas of the mall, and so that the proponents have invested a significant amount of time and effort into understanding how this development can work is a testament to their belief in the city and the vision that we both share from a proponent and city perspective to activate the centre of our city. For that, I think they should definitely be congratulated. It has been no easy feat in order to achieve that. The ongoing activation of the city through the pedestrianisation of the central spine is something that I know the panel were particularly focused on, and providing amenities for patrons to the city after hours is something also that we've been fortunate to advocate for as part of this development. So with that, I'll commend it to Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Leeser, would you like to close? Okay, let's put this one to a vote. All those in favour? That one is carried unopposed. Thank you very much. Moving on to 14.2, which is Lot 300 Altona Laneway, West Perth, access easement. Councillor Leeser has disclosed an impartiality interest, but is not required to leave the chamber. Can I have someone move, please? Thank you, Councillor Gobbett. Councillor Leeser to second. Councillor Gobbett, would you like to speak to the motion?
Thanks, Deputy Lord Mayor. Just briefly, it's always good to see strong investment in our city. And again, when we considered this item some years ago, and I recall that meeting when I was in your shoes, that there was some community concern about how the access would be retained. And it's pleasing to see that there will be an element of pedestrian access maintained, that there will be ongoing vehicular access maintained, and that servicing of the laneway will be able to occur. So on the whole, it was my view at the time, and I maintain the view, that in amalgamating the sites to create a higher development potential, it will only be a good thing, that we will be able to ensure the future activation of the city is done in a meaningful, genuine way that brings life and vitality to that area of West Perth. So with that, I'll commend the motion to Council.
Thank you for that. Seconder, would you like to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. This is probably not the most sexiest item we're going to have today, talking about easements and laneways, but anyway, the proposed adjustments to laneway easements are eminently sensible and well considered. And I'm really happy that the city waited and took the prudent approach of waiting for the findings of the comprehensive laneway study to inform this specific piece of work. This demonstrates a commitment to informed decision making. And it's reassuring to see that crucial aspects have been prioritised, with the plans clearly preserving full access to all properties that use the access to the laneway, and for both vehicles and pedestrians. Furthermore, it's very practical to make sure that our garbage trucks can manoeuvre around, and that's very sensible and very necessary. So I'm optimistic that these thoughtful adjustments will lead to a positive outcome, benefiting both the proponent and the wider Perth community, and I'm happy to support. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Let's move the item open for debate. Would anyone like to speak for or against? Councillor Wellard.
Yes, thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and really I'm going to be echoing some of the great comments that have come from my colleagues here on the floor. It is a strange motion to be talking about easements and laneways, but the modification to the Altona laneway does make sense if you consider the potential the large development space it creates can have in bringing more quality residents to West Perth and to the edge of Kings Park. Since this motion came up, I have spent time walking this laneway and I've consulted the city on any impacts of its removal. I am satisfied that what has been proposed is a positive solution for both the existing residents and those that may call this new development site home in the very near future. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak to this item? Councillor Gobbett, would you like to close? Okay, let's put this motion to a vote. All those in favour? Yes, that one has been passed unopposed. Thank you. Item 15.1 is the monthly financial statements for March. That has been carried on block. 15.2 is the schedule of accounts paid for March 2025. That one has been carried on block. 15.3 is the differential rates for 25-26. Can I please have someone to move that motion? Councillor Leeser. Seconder is Councillor Gobbett. Councillor Leeser, would you like to speak to the motion or to the item?
Thank you, Chair. I want to thank the administration for their diligent work in formulating this proposal. They've worked much harder than us, and we've seen this budget motion, I think, at least 7 times. So it's quite remarkable how much work goes into it. So a proposed increase of 3.1% across all rating categories is by all accounts a modest figure. In fact, it appears this will position the City of Perth as one of the lowest rate increases across the entire of WA. It's a significant achievement and reflects a strong commitment to prudent financial management and a deep understanding of the economic environment our ratepayers are navigating. This carefully considered increase will ensure we can deliver high-quality essential services and services that our community relies on. And importantly, it allows us to keep investing in the exciting future of our capital city, everything from maintaining our beautiful parks and public spaces to supporting vital community programs and infrastructure upgrades. I commend this motion to my fellow councillors. I think it strikes the right balance between ensuring the city's financial stability and respecting the contributions of our valued ratepayers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Gobbett, would you like to speak to the item?
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. And unlike the previous planning item, potentially, this one is definitely one of the sexy items that we get to talk about tonight, because the budget is how we deliver services for our community. And one of the first steps in advertising or adopting the budget at the later point in the year is setting the differential rates. And that's necessary so that we can understand the exact makeup that our ratepayers will be receiving later in the year. They, as Councillor Leeser quite rightly pointed out, this paper represents a deep understanding with a very considered approach where elected members have had multiple opportunities to input on projects important to our local communities. And so I'm looking forward to adopting the motion tonight and hearing from our community on the proposed differential rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to speak for or against this item? No? Let's go. Mover, would you like to close? Okay. All those in favour? That one is passed unopposed. Thank you. Item 16.1 is the business relocation grant that has been carried on block. Item 16.2 is the residential energy upgrade grant that was carried on block. Item 16.3 is the event sponsorship for 25/26. Councillor Leeser has disclosed the proximity interest and she is required to leave the chamber. I have an impartiality interest and I am not required to leave the chamber. Councillor Gobbett has disclosed impartiality interest and is not required to leave the chamber. And Councillor Coe also has an impartiality and is not required to leave the chamber. All right, no, sorry, that's proximity, mate. Got to go. So are we okay for numbers? Yes. Okay. Okay, for those who are left, can I have a mover, please? Councillor Gobbett. Seconder? Councillor Wellard. Mover, would you like to speak to the item? No? Okay. Anyone else like to speak to the item? No. Let's knock it on the head. Anyone? Let's move that to the vote. That is passed without unanimously. Okay, can we bring those councillors back in, please?
That way.
He might be in the toilets. That's probably the only spot he could be. All right, we'll move on accordingly. 16.4 is the major leveraging opportunity of the Terracotta Warriors. Can I please have a mover for this item? Councillor Leeser. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Doshi. Mover, would you like to speak to the item?
Who wouldn't want to speak about this item, Deputy? This is going to be very exciting. Where are my notes? So, this is a world-exclusive event and one of global significance, bringing 10 life-size terracotta warriors and 200 ancient artefacts to Perth. We were told that they never let more than 10 leave the country at any one time, and we're getting 10. How good is that? It's an extraordinary cultural moment, not just for the museum, but for the entire city. It's going to attract local visitors, interstate travellers, and definitely some international tourists will come. By supporting activations across the city, whether it's through lantern installations, cultural performances, themed night markets, or any other kind of creative partnerships with local businesses, we can extend the impact of this exhibition well beyond the museum walls and into the heart of our city. These activations will help draw people into our malls, laneways, and public spaces. They offer a valuable opportunity to support the local economy, foster cultural exchange, and of course, tell a story that connects us with one of the most fascinating periods in ancient history. I commend this exciting motion and urge my fellow councillors to support it. Let's ensure Perth becomes alive alongside the Warriors. Thank you.
Alrighty, thank you. And just to catch Councillor Coe up, we're on 16.4, which is the Terracotta Warriors piece. Councillor Doshi, would you like to speak to the item? No. Anyone else like to speak for or against the item? Councillor Wellard.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor. Just echoing Councillor Lee's comments there. This globally unique exhibition is a fantastic, great win for both Perth and WA. The timing of the event finishing during the Chinese Spring Festival 2026 allows us to engage with the broader Chinese community across Perth and hold related events in the lead up to our annual Chinese New Year festivities. Adding the City of Perth to the national and international marketing campaign should deliver strong returns on investment, and I commend my fellow councillors to support this motion. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak for or against? Councillor Gobbett.
Thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and echoing those comments of my fellow councillors. It's wonderful to see the relationship with the state government build through a cultural partnership like this. Were it not for the funding stream that council established, this might have been a missed opportunity, but it's in the foresight of the council to understand that when these opportunities come up, that we do have an ability to jump on board and partner in such a meaningful way, so that in a free way, we should add as well that our community can participate out on the streets of Perth. They don't need to go to Bullabardip for the full experience, but they will perhaps be enticed to participate. I saw the Terracotta Warriors in Xi'an in China. They are a sight to behold, and I cannot wait for this exciting opportunity to land in Perth.
Very well said. Would anyone else like to speak? Councillor Coe.
Thank you. I want to speak for the motion, and when I read this, I thought to myself, this is such a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I have never seen the Terracotta Warriors, even though I'm of ethnic Chinese descent. And hearing how amazing they are and having this opportunity to host them for this event and seeing the state level and local government level supporting this event, it's an opportunity we cannot miss, and we should be supporting it. And I think just the feeling in the room is that we should go for it, and I hope everyone else is on board. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Shall we put this item to the vote? Those in favour? That one is passed unopposed. It'll be a good run tonight, and my voice is just holding in long enough, I reckon, with the on-blocks coming up. I think we'll get there. Moving on to 17.1, which is the 2026 WECP AGM bid that has been passed on block. 18.1 is the 24-25 OAG annual audit plan, which has been passed en bloc. Item 18.2 is the proposed 3-year strategic internal audit plan for the financial year 25-26 to financial year 27-28, passed en bloc. We now move to item 18.3, which is affecting local government reform, audit and risk committee naming and membership amendments. Can I please have a mover? Councillor Leeser, and a seconder. Councillor Gobbett. Councillor Leeser, would you like to speak to the item?
There's not really that much to say. It's a confusing title for an easy thing. We've got one more meeting between now and the election, and we just had to change the name a little bit and ratify the people who are already in position. So it really is not that difficult. So there's not much more to say. Thank you.
And Councillor Gobbett, I have a feeling he's got even less to say. Yes, correct. Mover, you've spoken. Seconder has spoken. Anyone else to speak for or against? No, that's fantastic. Let's take that to the vote. All those in favour? That is passed unopposed. Thank you. Okay, item 19, which motions of which previous notice has been given. There are none. Moving on to item 20, matters for which the meeting may be closed. We will now be moving behind closed doors to consider confidential items 20.1 and 20.2 in accordance with section 5.23 bracket 2 bracket C and bracket F of the Local Government Act 1995, and this live stream will now be paused. Alrighty, we can turn live stream on again, please. We're good to go. Item 21, urgent business. No items have been consented to being raised in accordance with clause 4.14 in the City of Perth local standing orders. Item 22, this is the item for closure. There being no further business, I can now declare the ordinary council meeting closed at 5:57 p.m. Thank you all for your attendance. Thank you for your contribution, people.
Deputy Lord Mayor, Mr. Bruce Reynolds.